Now we can investigate why we criticize at all. We said a little bit ago that criticism disguises itself as a good, proper, good feeling, when in fact it's a very compulsive thing that has a whip in its hand. All right, you don't believe it? Can you watch your face while you're being critical? Do you think you could do that sometime? You watch your face, and if you're able to see it, and you can do it without a mirror, you'll be able to see the strain and the pain in it. You'll be able to see the unhappiness in it. Now, why would any of us be so stupid that we would engage all day long and all month long in critical, sarcastic comments toward ourselves, toward other people, toward events, toward what we call God? Why would we continue to do that when it is hurting us? It's so simple and yet so profound. If you don't think we're dumb, listen to this. I take the pain of criticism, which it is. It hurts me. I take the pain of a critical spirit as being necessary to my psychic survival. I'm somebody aggressive. I'm somebody fighting for himself. I'm somebody who's taking charge. I'm somebody who doesn't let people walk all over him. Whenever I'm critical, whenever I'm hostile, whenever I'm angry, I have the delusion that I'm acting in my favor, that I'm keeping myself protected, that I'm actually building a state that is necessary for me. This will continue to go on. This self-whipping will continue to go on until two things happen. The first one is a vast collection of knowledge, of facts, of ideas that we're talking about here right now. This collection of knowledge, so I have right elementary education on the intellectual part of my mind, so that when a situation comes up where I am going just about to be sarcastic or critical in a small or large way, because I have collected this knowledge, one of them being to remember these truths, at 1 minute, when I'm just about to make my usual sarcastic comment towards someone, I remember the knowledge, the ideas, and then added to that, the second factor, that I am willing to let go of my false pleasure-pain in order to experience something new in the vacuum of not criticizing. If I add that, then the two together will produce a third feature, a third and very new situation to me, which, after I've paused and not criticized, I then look and see, very easily by the way, the new condition, the new state that I have inside of me. And this you can call, if you like, this you can call the entrance of light. This you can call God teaching you rather than our own low-level intellect teaching us. You can begin to see that this is indeed a new experience, and in this experience that is new, there is no fear, no anxiety, no tension of being without the false thrill of a sarcastic remark. Now, this state is the beginning of the end of you, of me, right? It comes very, very dimly at the start because we're so reluctant to go into it. But having given you this very, very specific exercise to work on, it's a marvelous one to carry through all the way so that you find out for yourself by your own personal experience exactly what I'm talking about. And let me urge you not to miss the 50 opportunities that you have yet tonight before you go to bed. When you go back to your home, back to the motel, when you get in your car, watch how you even criticize that motor for not obeying your kingly instructions to turn on. Here I am, a prince among human beings. And I, in my royal instructions, turn the key for that mechanical monster to obey me by turning over, and it refuses. What arrogance! This is why the fact that we can't command mechanical things is so scary, because when it doesn't obey, good heavens, maybe I'm not the king I thought I was after all. Maybe I'm not someone after all who by a mere flick of the key can make things happen. See, look, this is all very, very personal and very psychological, right? It's a very psychological thing. This is why you have to turn your attention back when turning on the key, when dealing with mechanical things, including mechanical human beings, which are machines too, just a little difference in them. So you can begin to understand the necessity, the false necessity for being critical, for being sarcastic, which can be stated in this way now. When I let you have it, or I let me have it, or I let what I call God to have it, or the situation have it, or the opposite political party have it, when I have it, I am sending out my message to the exterior world. I am in command. And since I am in command and have such a great right to be in command, you had better obey me, whatever I ask of you, money, whatever. You had better obey me. Because if you don't obey me, I will be forced to see what a fake I really am, and I won't have it. So when those times come up, when I throw my demand out into the world, and the world says no instead of yes, my little cunning mind is anticipating that emergency, and it's going to handle it. And guess what I do? Get mad? Get critical? Now, that very criticism, that violence that I have in me, does two things. First of all, it's a smokescreen. The very agitation of it helps me to not see what a fraud I am. That's one thing. But the other one is the false identification of still being the king that I insist on being. The identification that if I can't get what I want, I can still pretend that I am entitled to it. And if you don't give it to me, guess who is evil? You are. It's a very bad world out there. It's a terrible world. People don't agree with my religion. They don't agree with the way I want to live. They don't agree with most things that I want. So therefore, it's a very evil world. I'm not evil. I am pure and good. The world is evil out there, and I have seen it as that. Look how, quote mark, safe I have made myself simply by using the 1 out of 1,000 devices that I have for keeping the illusion going that I'm a world unto myself that must be served by everyone out there. Now, this kind of life, this kind of way of going through our day is better known as self-destruction. Right? Why not, then, in our exercise, the exercise for those of you who are late, the exercise is that effective as of right now, you are going to refrain from criticizing anyone or anything, including yourself. You're not to criticize yourself. That's simply another form of self-centeredness. You're not to criticize, but rather to remain silent, so that, among other things, you can begin to see that it's the most difficult thing to do. But the observation that it's difficult to do is part of your success, because we don't know how our whole lives are wrapped around all these self-protective, falsely self-protected devices, including criticism, but zeroing in on this one thing. All right, now you know and I know that for every time we criticize someone with words, we do it silently in our own mind and feelings, don't we? Because we're afraid we'll get bopped if we criticize outwardly. So we say, well, you might keep me from talking, but you can't keep me from thinking. So, a non-critical spirit, what would be there if there was no criticism? What would be in its place? I started off the meeting by telling you an authentic feeling of quietness, and add to that the sure knowledge for the first time in your life that you are indeed in command of the entire world. That's right. You're in charge of the entire universe. Listen, because it consists of who you really are in reality, in truth, right now, inside.